What's up, Louis? It's Guys here. Hope you are doing great. There's probably one or two stocks that I will never ever sell in my whole entire life. And in today's video, I'm going to share one of those stocks with you. Just remember, don't click away from this video as soon as I mention the company, because we have to remember when we invest in stocks or in companies, we can't just sit back and relax and make millions of rands without putting in the work. What I mean with this is a company generates money and each and every quarter they release their earnings, which basically shows how well the company has performed in the last couple of months. This is great information to digest because we as the investors can literally see how good the company is performing. And if you don't analyze financial statements already, this is something that can set you apart from a lot of beginner investors. With that said, the stock that I would probably never sell unless something really bad happens to the company is Alphabet, or better known as Google. They recently released their Q2 2023 results, and damn, it was a good one. They've blown expectations away, and the stock has climbed up after hours so much and is currently trading at around $130. If you remember, I made a video about their first quarter results, and if you bought the stock when I made that video, you would be up around 30%. That's a pretty decent increase. Without further ado, let's jump straight into the earnings, and I'll show you a couple very important things that makes me very happy. So first of all, this is just the earnings release and not the 10Q, which is already available on the Investors Relation website. That's where they share a lot more detail, but for the purpose of this video, I really just wanted to keep it as simple as possible. Let's start with the financial highlights. So revenue, which is our top line, which is obviously a very important number, has been growing year over year. So we can see here that the revenue in the previous year was around $69 billion, and the latest results, it went up to around $74.6 billion. It's not a massive increase, but let me just show you something that's really nice to see. When we have a look in the operating income and the operating margin, this is really quite impressive, especially in the times that we are in today with the high interest rate environments and the recessionary spending issues in America and obviously across the globe. We can see that the operating income is up from $19 billion to $21.83 billion. So if you are new to this, just remember we want these numbers to climb and to keep increasing, and preferably increase by double digits. If we have a look at the net income, which is their bottom line, we can see that it's up from 16 billion to 18.36 billion, which is great. This gives us a diluted EPS of $1.44. I wanted to show you something that I'm really excited to be part of, and that is Seeking Alpha. So Seeking Alpha is a very, very cool website that I use to analyze stocks and to get really insightful information from analysts and people that really know what they are talking about. You can see articles similar to this one, which is titled Google Goes Beast Mode, where they explain the earnings in more details, and you can get a lot of information from articles like these. We can also see Google ratings. On our right hand side, we can see that majority of South African analysts says that Google is a buy, Wall Street says that is a buy, and overall we can see that it has a rating of strong buy. This is information that we can use to determine whether we want to invest in a stock in a certain period of time, or is it something that we completely want to stay away from. Next, we get a ranking system that shows that Google is ranked 32 out of 4,679 companies. This is basically one of the best businesses that you can buy. In its sector, it's ranked 3 out of 250, and in its industry, it's number 3 out of 62. So you can't really get a more solid business than Google. So this is definitely something that I would consider buying. At the end of the day, you have to use tools like Seeking Alpha to determine whether it is a good investment or not. Seeking Alpha has a lot of cool tools where you can see a summary of the stock, you can see ratings, financials, earnings, the dividends, the valuation, growth, profitability, momentum, and much more. It also has a function where you can see news about that specific company, and again you can see the factors that are graded, like its valuation, growth, and profitability. And another cool thing is that it has a built-in trading view chart where you can use a lot of cool tools and indicators to do some technical analysis and to determine again whether it has a good entry point or not. Just something very cool is just check out how Google has shot up after it released its earnings from $122 up to $131. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a Seeking Alpha link down in the comments as well as my description. And if you join using my link, you can get a 14-day free trial where you can test out the platform. Believe me, if you are willing to spend money on Netflix and DSTV and Amazon Prime, rather spend it on something like Seeking Alpha, where you can actually improve your financial literacy and grow your net worth. If we have a closer look at Google's revenue sources, previously the YouTube ads revenue were down, but this is great to see that it is up again. Next, we can see that Google Network is down a bit, but the good one is Google Advertising. This is a massive part of Google's business. It's up from 56.288 billion to 58.143 billion. This again is great. Google Other, which is up as well, and then the Google Service total, which is up from $62.84 billion to $66.285 billion. This is tremendous amount of money that Google generates. Another interesting and very exciting revenue stream is Google Cloud, and they are really growing this aspect of their business, and they are sitting at around $8.031 billion of revenue. This is just a quick summary of their revenue streams, and it's very exciting to see that they have generated a lot of revenue, which means that this is a very resilient company, especially in these tough environments. We can see that the operating income for Google services is up at 23 billion. And like I said, Google Cloud, that is now profitable, made around $395 million, which is great because it used to be a part of the business that lost money, but now it's profitable. This gives us a total income from operation in the second quarter of a massive $21.83 billion. This means that from Google's operations, it is generating $21.838 billion of income. This is exactly what we want to see, and I love investing in companies that has a good operating margin and can generate a lot of income. I would suggest downloading the earnings release and going through the numbers and looking at it in a more detailed way so that you are happy with the results. I am pretty much really happy with the results, and we can see on the stock price that a lot of investors is happy as well. If we have a look at the cash and cash equivalents that the company has as of June 30th, 2023, they have cash equivalents of $25.929 billion. Marketable securities is $92.4 billion. Again, both of them are up, which gives us a total cash and cash equivalents of $118 billion. And what I really like about Google, and this is one of the main reasons why I would probably never sell this company, is because they have such a solid balance sheet. Let me just quickly show you the total liabilities that Google has. It is currently $115.9 billion. This is all of the liabilities that Google has, and this is monies that needs to be paid to different companies or as debt. And the awesome thing is that Google has enough cash and cash equivalents to literally pay off all of their total liabilities if they wanted to. This is obviously not a very good idea, but it's great to know that the company can do this, and there's not a lot of companies that can really afford doing this. So Google really has a very strong balance sheet. So this is one of the companies that you can invest in, and you know they maintain a good balance sheet and they know how to work with debt. Another big one for me is retained earnings, and we can see that the retained earnings is up from 195 billion to a massive $200 billion. This is exactly what we want to see, as well as growth in stockholders' equity. When we have a look at the consolidated statements of income, I'm going to go with the quarter ended June 30. So this is on the left hand side. We can see that the revenue is up from 69 to 74 billion. We can see that the cost of revenue is obviously increasing as the revenue is increasing, but this is really in line with what they are doing, and this is definitely not something to worry about. Again, with research and development, it's obviously up, but really nothing to be scared about. And this again is something that I love about Google, because they can keep their operating expenses low, and that is exactly what they are doing. What I really like to see is that even though their revenue has grown, but not too much, let's say that's around 4%, they can grow their net income by much more. So the net income for the last quarter was $18.3 billion. So this is the bottom line. This is the money that they bring home, and this is really great to see. And again, there's growth year over year as well. When we have a look at the cash flow statement, which is my favorite, we can see that Google has generated a lot of money from their operating activities, and this is quite intense. If we have a look at the last quarter 2022 ending June, they generated $19 billion in operating activities, and this quarter they generated a massive $28.6 billion. That is literally an increase of almost 50%, which is pretty insane. When we look at the yearly net cash that they provided by operating activities, which is around $52 billion, this is cash provided by operating activities. To get to free cash flow, we basically deduct purchase of property and equipment, around $13 billion, which gives us a total free cash flow of, let me just quickly calculated, of almost $39 billion in free cash flow in the year ended June. This is exactly what I like to see in a company, and I'm really excited about Google's future going forward. So this is definitely a stock to continue to monitor. With that said, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below.